This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Watching low pressure pull away in its wake. Some chilly weather on tap here over the next few days. 55 with a few showers still left over this afternoon, especially early, most of it ending later. We actually get some breaks in the clouds. Some clouds overnight tonight and cold, 34. Scattered frost around early tomorrow morning. Sunshine in the afternoon, still chilly, 56. Mid-30s again tomorrow night. Wednesday, partly cloudy, 62, 72 by Thursday. From a Weather Channel, I'm Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by COVIDclinic.org. This spring season, whether you're visiting family or headed to a festival, it's time for a COVID test. COVID Clinic offers quick and convenient same-day testing in your area. Visit COVIDclinic.org to find a location near you.
Hey, I'm Miles Gray.
And I'm Jack O'Brien, and we want to tell you about our new podcast,
Miles and Jack got Mad Boosties, an NBA podcast from iHeartRadio. This is a weekly podcast about all the amazing moments that keep NBA fans coming back for more.
Basically, if you love basketball and you like to laugh, listen to Miles and Jack Got Mad Boosties, an NBA podcast on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey folks, DG here asking you to give yourself the gift of Asheville Smiles here in 2022. Studies have linked untreated gum disease to heart disease, erectile dysfunction, systemic diseases, premature birth, joint issues, and much more. Everything is connected. And seeing a dentist every 6 months is important for your overall health. For top-notch dental care from Dr. Rebecca Merrill here in Asheville, call 828-251-2426 or AshevilleSmiles.com.
The countdown is on to tax day on Monday, April 18th.
5, 4,
it's like New Year's Eve, except for taxes. Hurry to taxact.com and you can still get a guaranteed max return. File for less and get more at taxact.com.
Hey guys, there is some important news that all men should take very seriously. Your prostate health. Are you urinating more frequently? Are you waking up at night to urinate? Are you sick and tired of prostate pills that just don't work? Sound familiar? If you are one of the millions of men with prostate problems that are driving you nuts, there is some great news. Prosthogenics is the all-natural product that beat over 157 other prostate supplements in lab tests and was rated the #1 most powerful prostate supplement in the world. #1, because it works. So why not try some Prosthogenics, and your prostate troubles will be a thing of the past. You'll get a great night's sleep and stop waking up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. To get your free bottle of Prosthogenics, call now, 800-600-2020. That's 1-800-600-2020. Take advantage of our 90-day money-back guarantee. Call 800-600-2020. Do it now.
This April, Dirt Racing's toughest gladiators come together in the last great Coliseum for a battle unlike any other. The World of Outlaws Bristol Bash.
3 cars racing for the win on the final lap.
See World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink, Sprint Cars, and World of Outlaws Case Late models collide for one massive weekend. April 28th to the 30th at Bristol Motor Speedway. Do not miss this chance to be part of history. The World of Outlaws Bristol Bash, April 28th to the 30th. Be there.
Hey, it's Mark Starling from First News on 570 for my friends over at Casablanca Cigar Bar. And I got to tell you, this is my new spot for business and for pleasure. Sam, Brooke, and Jackie will make sure all of your cigar and cocktail needs are taken care of. They have a wide selection of the finest cigars in every price point, and their selection of spirits and craft cocktails will have your taste buds watering. So whether it's a smoke and a cocktail at their Biltmore Village location or just a smoke at their new retail location in Hendersonville that has a gorgeous back patio, Casablanca Cigar Bars has all the relaxation you need.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
I'm Doug Brown with breaking news. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports the Browns will sign cornerback Denzel Ward to a 5-year deal worth just over $100 million. At age 24, Ward will become the highest-paid corner in league history. In the NBA playoffs tonight, Game 2 for the 76ers and Raptors. Philly took Game 1, but ESPN's Kendrick Perkins says more importantly,
it's how they won the game. Joel Embiid shot 5 for 15 last night from the field. Other day from the field. James Harden was 6 for 17, and they won. They won on the backs of Tobias Harris and Tyrese Maxey.
Kendrick Perkins on First Take. Coverage of the Raptors and Sixers tips off at 7 Eastern here on ESPN Radio. Also tonight, Game 2 for the Jazz and Mavericks after Utah grabbed Game 1 on the road. And Game 2 for the Nuggets and Warriors. Golden State up 1-0 in that series. Iowa State point guard Tyrese Hunter, the Big 12 Freshman of the Year, will enter the transfer portal.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Now your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Pay. That's pay. Enter it on our station website now.
Log on to ESPNABL.com.
In the heart of Beer City, USA, two men, one journey to create a sports show unlike any other. Unfiltered, raw, and honest. One of them played a soccer goalie opposite Ben Stiller. The other once scored 6 points on Steph Curry. These guys know their shit.
Let's go!
Tank Spencer, Jeremy Greene, the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings.
Welcome into the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app and seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click on the live video link, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It'll get you into the chat. You can weigh in on today's big question of the day. Is there a food worth being fired for?
And we'll tell you why that is the question later on in this show.
We're going to get into all of it. What a weekend it was as we had the NBA playoffs officially in full swing. We're done with all of this play-in tournament BS.
Stupid. All the stupid.
Oh, come on. People have their I saw article after article talking about how this was so good for the NBA. Really? Because I don't feel like I didn't care one way or the other about any of those play-in games other than the one that the Charlotte Hornets were in. And I feel like that's the only thing that the play-in tournament is good for.
It's good for nothing, and it needs to go away desperately.
We have Denzel Ward, the highest-paid cornerback in history in the NFL. The Cleveland Browns signing him to a massive $100+ million deal today with $71 million guaranteed. We'll get into that. We've got several wide receivers looking for their big payday as well, and they're skipping workouts. A lot of people have problems with that. No, I don't. Why would you? Why show up to a pretty much meaningless offseason workout if there's a risk that you're going to get injured before your big payday?
And to me, that has absolutely nothing to do with why they're doing this.
Really?
The four of them all have one thing in common. If you don't know what we're talking about Deebo Samuel, DK Metcalf, Terry McLaurin,
A.J. Brown.
And A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
They all have one thing in common. Not one of them has a settled quarterback. Not one. DK now has Drew Lock.
Mm-hmm.
Debo's got Trey Lance, who maybe he's good. He looks good in training camp.
Right.
Looks good in a pair of shorts.
Right.
A.J. Brown's got Ryan Tannehill, and Terry McLaurin's got Carson Wentz. Yeah, they want to get paid before you see them on the field with the disaster their offenses are going to be. Not all of them.
Right.
But there's a risk. There's no Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen in this triumvirate of quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm. Well, and, of course, we had the opening of the USFL over the weekend. Did you watch any of it, Jeremy?
It was the sparkler of spring football.
The sparkler?
It started reasonably well, shining nice and bright, and then
it did. That Birmingham game.
When you fumble 5 times and a half, don't tell me this is good football.
But they're all bad. Is that not? Does that not account for something? We'll get into that coming up later on in the program, as well as, of course, 10 days away from the NFL Draft. We'll be covering each and every pick live here in the Sportsocracy. Again, another reason for you to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you'll know every time that we are live, including today's happy hour, where Flostradamus Jeremy Greene will be doing a live draft Q&A. All of your draft questions answered.
All the questions you could possibly ask.
That's right. Answered today in the happy hour at 5 o'clock exclusively on the YouTube stream. Number one pick in the draft belongs to the Jacksonville Jaguars. And still, it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of information coming out about which way they're leaning.
And this is not the first time we've had this. I mean, there's this misnomer that every single year there's a no doubt this is the guy that's going to go number one in the draft, because we've had Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, and, well, Kyler wasn't no doubt until we figured out that Arizona was just drunk on him.
Right.
The last time we really had instability about who was going to go number one, it was Baker Mayfield.
Mm-hmm. And that wasn't a good sign.
No, and that's the problem, is that virtually every time we do this, where, it could be, or it almost invariably is a train wreck. Baker Mayfield, train wreck.
Right.
Jared Goff, train wreck. Eric Fisher, train wreck. Cam Newton, train wreck. I said what I said, and I meant it.
I mean, it wasn't exactly a train wreck forever.
It wasn't good.
Right.
It wasn't good. It didn't last as long as you wanted it to.
Well, no. And it didn't end well, obviously. But at the time,
I could argue the last time we didn't definitively know who the number one pick was going to be, and it ended even reasonably well, was Mario Williams.
Okay. Back in 2006?
I mean, and if you're being really honest, he only played 9 years. All right, so it's not like it was an A+. It was just they didn't take Reggie Bush. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think Jacksonville needs to look at that and really think about that. Because what was it that the Texans did with Mario Williams? I remember this draft so unbelievably well because the Jets, of course, picked high.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a super flashy draft. This was very different than the one we're getting ready to go into. So you had Vince Young, Matt Leinart, Jay Cutler, Reggie Bush, and then the night before the draft, here are the Texans holding up a jersey with Mario Williams.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody could believe it. And there's one very simple reason that they did it. He was the safest pick by a mile. And if you look back on it, he was the best pick that they could possibly have made by a pretty decent margin.
Right.
And I think Jacksonville needs to be looking at that, going, okay, what can we glean from that? We could take the new shiny toy in Trayvon Walker, and he could be a defensive tackle or an outside linebacker, or he might even play corner. Like he's that good at everything. Or he could be good at nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Or he could be a player that is just always really athletic, and he's never a great football player. And I'm looking at it going, there's no way they don't take Trayvon Walker 1. Mm-hmm. Absolutely, unequivocally, no shot they take anybody else. Unless he comes in the building and threatens somebody. I don't see how that's not what they're going to do.
Well, I mean, they're in a position where they could take the safest guy in the draft.
The safest guy in the draft is Ike McLaurin.
That's what I think.
That's the safest player in this draft, and it's 100% what you should do.
Mm-hmm.
And I've said this over and over again, and I got killed by Jaguar fans. Oh, why would we take a guard at 1? Well, because look at your options. It's not like you're passing on Andrew Luck or Myles Garrett or even a Jadeveon Clowney. And then I've seen all of the comments of knocking Jadeveon Clowney. You do realize that's the high side on Aiden Hutchinson, right? Like, that's the best this could possibly be, is he has a career like that, minus the being the best free agent available every single year in April. That's the best it could be.
Mm-hmm.
Worst it could be, he's a dude. He's defensive Eric Fisher.
Ugh. That would not be the greatest option for them, but I feel like the Jacksonville Jaguars are looking at this, and they're kind of going at this from the NBA draft standpoint of the NBA draft. To me, has become more about upside. We want to take the guy with the highest upside.
And how does that work?
It doesn't.
Ever.
That's the problem.
It virtually never works.
Right. And that's what they're doing with Trayvon Walker. Is that they're taking a guy who looked great in shorts.
Oh, let's play this game. How many of these can I name in 10 seconds? Mike Mamula, Vernon Golston, Vernon Davis. Oh, let's keep going with how many guys have I heard they look great in shorts. I know there's another one that I'm missing. Those are the three best ones.
Right.
You know what they all had in common? They weren't any good.
Except for Vernon Davis.
Vernon Davis was not nearly as good as you think he was. He was not. He's a way better actor than he ever was football player.
Wait, he's an actor now?
Oh, yeah. A pretty good one, too.
Really?
He hosted some award show not that long ago.
Huh.
Oddly enough, Vernon Davis also in that Mario Williams draft I was talking about.
Did he host the ESPYs or something?
I think he did.
I have no idea. I haven't watched the ESPYs in 5 years, I don't think.
Yeah, Vernon Davis. Oh, that's the good one, by the way, of the hyper athlete that, we're going to take him just because he's so crazy athletic. He had 583 catches in 198 games. He averaged 2.5 catches a game, and that's the good one. And I'm just watching this going, there's no way Jacksonville doesn't do this.
Right.
There's no humanly possible way. Because if you were going to do it, you would have already said it. If Aiden Hutchinson was the pick at 1, we'd already know it. I firmly believe that.
Okay.
Because now we are officially in the window of misinformation.
Right.
And you're going to get it all. And I've heard from more than one team in the top 10 of Aiden Hutchinson's just, he's a double. That's what he is. He's a double. And the thing I can't for the life of me figure out, why is that who everybody wants? Because nobody disagrees with that. I saw Todd McShay this morning was talking about his too early 2022 mock draft that he did in August. 2 guys in the top 10, not even in this draft.
Nice.
You want to know why those are so stupid? I'm not saying I won't do one.
Right.
That's why those are ridiculously stupid. Aiden Hutchinson was at 8. And to me, that's about where he falls in. He's going to be a nice rotational piece for a lot of years. There are people, by the way, just since we're talking about Trayvon Walker, they think he's a second-round pick. And Jacksonville's going to take him at 1.
And I can't say that I disagree with that. I mean, as a Georgia fan who watched every game this year, Trayvon Walker was fine. But it wasn't like you watched that team and went, that's the guy. This is the star. He had, 9.5 sacks in his career at Georgia? Mm-hmm. And I know that college stats are not always the thing that can tell you whether a guy's going to be good at the next level or not.
No, but if there's no production, there's there have been guys, it is super few and far between.
But to get yourself in that mindset to think that Trayvon Walker was just, as I've heard you say many times in our team-by-team videos, which you can get at the sportsocracy.com.
And many people are, and saying so. We're doing a troll patrol before the draft happens. The next person that says, how did you two idiots get an ESPN show? I love that. You have, by the way, opened yourself up to me trolling you. And just understand, I'm a comedian. I make people laugh for a living.
But you have said so many times about guys like being hidden on a team or being miscast because of all the talent around them.
It happens.
But is Trayvon Walker one of those guys?
Okay, let me give you an example. And this is the best I can say on Trayvon Walker. If you're working your job, and let's say you work at a bank, and every teller, every loan officer, the manager, they're all phenomenal, and you never stand out. Do you think you're going to go to the dumpster fire bank and be the shining star? No. You're going to sink down to what they are. That's how that works. Mm-hmm. Because eventually you get tired of being the only one or whatever the case may be. That's what Trayvon Walker is. I have seen him on the best collegiate defense in the history of college football, and he was a dude.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't the best player at his own position, but because of the combine, we've lost our minds. And I am convinced, and I'll take this one step further. This is how insane this business has become. I'm convinced if the Jaguars don't do it at 1, Detroit will do it at 2. He will not last past 2. I guarantee you. And there is almost no chance that he lives up to that. I'm not going to say none.
Right.
I mean, there's decent tape on him.
Mm-hmm.
Not this.
Does he become the next greatest edge rusher? The edge rusher of the generation?
No shot. No shot. There's a guy in this draft that could be that, and his name's Kayvon Thibodeau. But everybody's losing their mind because, well, he's a jerk, and sometimes he didn't play that hard. Well, he played at Oregon. He was in the national title picture for about an hour every year.
Right. He's not a nice guy, so is that reason not to take him at number 1?
I mean, and we've seen this. 1995. You want to know why Jeremy's a little draft nerd? Because in 1995, the Jets were really worried that Warren Sapp was not a nice guy, and maybe he had a little wacky tobacco problem. And they took nice guy Kyle Brady. And I'm sure you would love for him to marry your daughter. But by God, if he's playing tight end for you, you are going to pull your hair out at the root. I've seen me do it.
Mm-hmm. So to you, no doubt in your mind, Ike Mekwonu needs to be the number 1 pick in the draft.
No doubt. I wouldn't think about it for 5 seconds. Because it's so safe. And this is the flip side of this argument. Do you remember the Eric Fisher draft? Which I remember, that was the year that I questioned my life and went, why do I do this? Why do I do this to myself? I'm breaking down a draft that has no players in it.
That was 2013.
It was.
And that was Eric Fisher went 1, and then you had Luke Jokel, who the Jaguars took
Man,
it
I
to.
wish I'd had a radio show then because I said some horrible things about him.
Other guys
about his play.
Right. Other guy, oh gosh, I forgot.
Deion Jordan.
I forgot how bad this draft was.
Ziggy Ansah.
And they were all so highly touted of Barkevius Mingo and Jonathan Cooper from North Carolina. I remember thinking him and Chance Warmack were going to be like...
They were supposed to be the next 2 great guards in the NFL, and they were both dog water. Right. Both of them.
Right.
Neither one of them could have played dead on a cop show. I mean, they would literally have been laying on the slab blinking at the cops. He's not dead. Yeah, he is. Well, he's supposed to be.
Which is really,
but
really
what did
strange.
The Kansas City Chiefs do? Look at that draft. We all looked at it. You said they were highly touted.
Yeah.
No, they weren't. There was a lot of instability in this draft. But there was one thing that we all said. The safest player in this draft by a mile was Lane Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
2 was Eric Fisher. What'd the smart team do? Kansas City, the smart team, what'd they do? They took the guy that, is he ever going to be a star? No. Is he ever going to be a Pro Bowler? No. He's going to be a solid starter. And he was until injuries caught him, and then they couldn't afford to pay him. The Philadelphia Eagles, also a smart franchise. What'd they do? They took the safest player in the draft. By the way, the only guy in the top 10 that's still on the team that drafted him. That draft was 8 years ago. Not like this was 17 years ago, and half these guys have retired.
Right.
Half of them have washed out of the league. But that's what the 2 smart teams did. Philadelphia, they've been competitive forever. They had a bad year here and there. Yep, did the year before this. Kansas City Chiefs, they've been in large part competitive for the last 30 years. And then you get the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Miami Dolphins, the Detroit Lions, the Cleveland Browns, the Arizona Cardinals, St. Louis Rams. Who, think back to St. Louis, not now. Dog water.
Yeah.
Hey, let's take a 5'7" receiver at number 8. Let's take Luke Jokel, who I am not sure is the most athletic person in his house. Or Deion Jordan, the athletic freak. Man, I fell for him.
Right.
I did. I'm not even going to lie. I fell for him hook, line, and sinker. And he washed out of the league because he couldn't play. We seem to get locked into, he ran a 4.7 in shorts. Wait, I'm going to go to Chris Farley on this.
Well, Lottie frickin' dog.
Who cares? I could probably still run a 4.9. Now, I'd die at the end of it.
Right.
And I couldn't do it more than once. I could still bench press 20 times. I'd still die at the end of it.
Right.
If that's what this was, why do we not just recruit or why do we not just draft Olympians? And we've done that, by the way, a bunch of times. It's never worked. I cannot wrap my brain around how we're still to this point. And Jacksonville's like, what are we going to do? They want to trade down. I get it. Nobody's coming to you. I can promise you that.
It was a bad position for them to be with the number 1 pick in this draft because of that very reason.
I'll be honest with you. The number 1 pick in the draft is a curse more often than it's not. Vast majority of the time, it's a curse.
Well, yeah, because unless you have that generational talent at the top of the draft, you're going to get criticized.
It's not like you get to drop down and just take somebody at 5. No, you're taking somebody at 1. That's how this works, and it's how it's going to go.
Right. And that person, that player, is going to be judged against every other number 1 pick in history. And how can you live up to guys like Peyton Manning?
You can't.
Right.
Andrew Luck, best example of this you'll ever see. He was phenomenal. Not for as long as you want him to be, and he never really led his team to any success. I could argue he's one of the bigger busts I've ever seen because you take the expectation and what you got.
Right.
He was supposed to be Peyton Manning 2.0.
I was going to say, you got 2 years of high-level competition out of him?
Well, I mean, he played well for several years.
Of
course
the
injuries took over.
But I mean like MVP level, number 1 overall pick level play. You got that for like 2 years.
Before we go to commercial, Jason Trump. So, Jeremy, tell me how many times a guy named Brady has hurt you.
Oh.
I lost count in 2007.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Yep, Jacksonville Jaguars. And go blow it again.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, cold front marching on through Asheville tonight. Couple of sprinkles out there and a much colder tone to the forecast overnight tonight and again tomorrow night. It's not record cold, but we will flirt with freezing here. And the humidity taking a nosedive into the Tuesday forecast. We're down to 34 degrees with a sprinkle or 2. Snowflake possible in the higher elevations tonight. Sunshine Tuesday, high 55, low 34. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. Give yourself a new morning routine with the Bell Breakfast Box from Taco Bell. It's filled with a grande toasted breakfast burrito, hash brown, 2 Cinnabon Delights, and a coffee. Swing by participating locations for a limited time only. Drinks excludes freezes.
As the country bounces back from COVID and mask mandates are lifted, your business needs a lift too. Promote your company right here, right now. Radio ads connect with 93% of Americans every week. That's more than Google, more than Facebook, more than TV. In fact, radio reaches 20% more millennials than TV. Want more of the people you want to talk to all in one place? Visit iHeartAdvertising.com and get AM and FM working for you. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
This April, Dirt Racing's toughest gladiators come together in the last great Coliseum for a battle unlike any other. The World of Outlaws Bristol Bash.
3 cars racing for the win on the final lap.
See World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink, Sprint Cars, and World of Outlaws Case Late models collide for one massive weekend. April 28th to the 30th at Bristol Motor Speedway. Do not miss this chance to be part of history. The World of Outlaws Bristol Bash, April 28th to the 30th. Be there.
Kelley Blue Book is the one-stop shop for pricing, fixing, selling, and instant cash offering. Instant Cash Offer is exactly what it sounds like. An official offer to buy or trade your car. Woo-hoo! Just enter your VIN or license plate, answer a few questions about your car's history, and what kind of condition it's in. In minutes, you'll receive an offer to sell or trade your car that you can be sure is fair. Then choose a dealer to purchase your car and schedule a time to meet. For all of the its, KBB.com.
Mary had a little gnat, little gnat, little gnat. Mary had a little gnat that flew around her home. Everywhere a Zevo glows, Zevo glows, Zevo glows, and everywhere a Zevo glows, the gnat was sure to go.
Zevo traps use blue and UV light, not odors or chemical insecticides, to attract and trap flying insects. Just plug it in and trap bugs around the clock. Zevo, people friendly, bug deadly. Now at a store near you.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
That dog does not want to be petted.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
At Ingles, we know your closest companions are the ones who are always there for you. The ones you trust to have your back, no matter what. Who make the hard times a little softer, and the good ones, somehow, a little better.
This week at Ingles, select sizes and varieties Kellogg's Townhouse or Club Crisp crackers, 2 for $5. Select sizes and varieties Starbucks coffee, $7.98 each. And select sizes and varieties General Mills cereal, 2 for $5. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
The Sportsocracy.
Why are you smiling? Because I love football.
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy, and the USFL is now underway. And it all started out Saturday night pretty well. I mean, at least the last bit of the Birmingham Stallions New Jersey Generals game was pretty good. I mean, they scored, 3 touchdowns in the last, 4 minutes of the game?
Woohoo!
I mean, at least it made it competitive, and it was exciting football to watch.
And then yesterday happened.
And then yesterday happened.
And it was piddle. The number 1 pick in the draft was benched after 3 drives.
Ugh.
Tell me everything you need to tell me everything I need to know about your sport without telling me anything.
Birmingham had to rally to beat the New Jersey Generals on Saturday night, 28-24. Jamar Smith, who, I'll be honest with you, I have no clue who that is.
I remember him vaguely. He had very little. I think he was on an NFL practice squad, but I can't remember which one.
Yeah,
that's how I spent most of the USFL games going, looking back through notes, going, what do I know about this guy? I know something.
I knew 2 guys. on the entire field.
Shea Patterson and Paxton Lynch.
No. In the Birmingham, New Jersey game, C.J. Marable out of Coastal Carolina, the running back for the Birmingham Stallions, and then Scooby Wright from Arizona.
Who I remember think has played in every one of these leagues.
Of course he has. I mean, he was a hell of a college football player.
Yeah, he's a whittle feller, though.
Yeah.
You want to know why height, weight, and speed do matter a little bit? That guy. If you could take his brain and put it in my body, Hall of Famer.
Right.
Unfortunately, I like cake. So none of those things were ever realistic for me.
It got to a point where I'm sitting there, I'm watching the game on Saturday night, and my wife is on the couch next to me, and she's asking me, do you know who that is? Do you know who that is? No, honey, I don't know any of these people. I know 2 guys on the field, and you can go somewhere else if you want to. You don't have to sit here. And she's like, no, I like hanging out with you. I'm like, okay, that's fine. But I feel like that was the overall take from everybody was, at least it's football.
I'm so locked into draft mode that I was going USFL Mel Kiper at HWA.
Were you really?
Oh, yeah. And I knew way more than you would want me to. But literally by halftime, she looked at me and went, you need a hobby. Bad. I don't even care what it is. You can start a weird hobby. You can start collecting stamps or coins or whatever. You need something else in your life.
That goes from draft nerd to just nerd.
I can collect ballpoint pens, and I'm not sure it would be any weirder than my actual hobby.
Your Houston Gamblers forcing, 5 turnovers?
Well, I mean, I don't know that so much as they forced them as Paxton Lynch and Shea Patterson went, oh, yeah, we are so bad at this.
Yeah.
How did anybody look at us and go, yes, that?
Here, just have it.
I mean, I thought the presentation of it was fine.
Mm-hmm. The camera angles were cool.
I'm gonna ask you a trivia question as we go into just about outside.
Okay.
That was the first event that has been simulcast on 2 major networks since what? What was the last event simulcast on 2 competitor major networks? Because it was on Fox and NBC.
Ooh, I don't know.
In the comments, I want to see if somebody can get it right.
I have absolutely no idea. Answer.
I'll give you a hint. Virtually none of us were alive. I can tell you I wasn't even close to alive. My parents were in their teens.
All right, let's get just a bit outside.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
If you're watching in our YouTube stream, you see a very odd question. Is there any food that's worth getting fired over? Well, Devin Smith was a running back for the Pittsburgh Maulers. He's not anymore, and it all comes back to a chicken salad sandwich.
What?
This video, I swear, if I didn't know it better, I would swear the USFL was like getting us. Their head coach's name is Kirby Wilson, and there is a documentary that's United by Football, a season in the USFL. They're recording this as the season's going along. So on their social media, they put out a video of Devian Smith coming in and talking to the coaching staff. At which time he is promptly told that he's being released because he violated Section 46 of the player agreement, which it's never explicitly said what that is, but it's basically, if you're rude to somebody, we can release you for nothing. Well, as the story unfolds, what actually happened comes out. Apparently, they were having lunch in the hotel, and the lunch that was provided by the USFL was chicken salad sandwiches, which I love a good chicken salad sandwich more than anybody.
Right.
Apparently, Mr. Smith does not agree. And he said, is there anything else? I don't know if he has a celery aversion. I don't know if he don't like mustard. I don't know.
Maybe he's against mayonnaise?
He does not like chicken salad. Well, apparently, as this was transpiring, a pizza was brought in. And he asked, can I have some of that pizza? I can see it. It's right there.
Right.
To which the response was, no, you can't. Yeah, no.
No,
Is that going to be a problem? And apparently he said yes and walked away. And he was cut for that.
Wow.
They cut him because he said yes, that's going to be a problem. That's the biggest story of the whole first weekend of the USFL. You are apparently out of your mind. He was cut over a chicken salad sandwich.
So was this like a conduct detrimental kind of thing?
Apparently you can't be wooed to anybody. And if you're wooed, then we'll take your helmet away and you had to go home and think about what you did.
That's ridiculous.
I, honest to God, had to vet this story just to make sure that I wasn't being punked. Because I saw it yesterday. And as soon as I saw it, I went, yep, that is everything I need to know.
So if you play in the USFL, you have to eat their food. Or they will fire you.
Well, or you just have to be quiet about it.
That is possibly the weirdest thing I've ever heard. I mean, remember when we were doing the bubble thing and the NBA players were tweeting out like, oh, look at this gross food that they gave us. And it wasn't actually gross food. It was just, you probably expect a little bit better. And maybe that's what this guy was going through. Maybe he was thinking, well, this is quote unquote professional football. So shouldn't we have something better than a gas station chicken salad sandwich?
Well, it could be a very high-end chicken salad sandwich. You don't know. Chicken salad can be quite the delicacy.
Oh, yeah, like that rotisserie chicken salad that you can get from the Ingles Markets.
I've seen me with a box of chicken and biscuits just drill a whole container of that before I even realized it.
No doubt. Wow. And he got let go for that. Just because he didn't want to eat a chicken salad sandwich. Jeez. Well, he lost a job, and apparently Doc Rivers has a job. He was asked about all the rumors flying around about him possibly being on the radar for the Los Angeles Lakers to be their next head coach after they fired Frank Vogel. And Doc was, he's not happy. He's not happy with how the Los Angeles Lakers dealt with their last head coach, Frank Vogel. And I don't know why this is shocking to anybody. First off, Doc Rivers, if you'll remember back last year, midway through the NBA season, when Lloyd Pierce got fired by the Atlanta Hawks, and Doc Rivers was very vocal about How is this his fault? He has led a rebuild here, and he got fired midway through the season, like weeks after he and his wife had just had a baby. It was bad timing, and he came out and said that's basically Bush League, the way that they handled that situation. And when he was asked about the Laker rumors, he basically said, I would never work for that franchise because of the way they treated Frank Vogel. And to me, it's just another sign that this is where the Los Angeles Lakers are right now. I don't think it has, I mean, obviously it has something to do with the players that are there. Maybe a coach doesn't want that job because he knows the expectations are going to be excised because LeBron James is there, because Anthony Davis is there, and he wouldn't want to deal with Russell Westbrook. But the Lakers can't generate interest from anybody. And the way that they handled the Frank Vogel firing, I give Doc Rivers credit. Look, I've been a Doc Rivers critic for a while. I mean, remember when we were talking about, is he going to get fired by the Los Angeles Clippers? I felt like I was the only one out here saying, well, I mean, maybe he should be fired because he hasn't been able to produce anything for them in the playoffs. When the Philadelphia 76ers were going to hire him, he's won one title and had 4 Hall of Famers on his team when he was with the Boston Celtics. There's a little bit of overrated, in my opinion, in Doc Rivers as a head coach.
And I disagree with you vehemently.
I know you do. And we've gone round and round about this.
Okay, answer this question.
Mm-hmm.
Name the coaches in the NBA right now that are better than Doc Rivers.
I mean, there are a few.
This is where this argument falls into a million pieces.
There are a few. I mean, I like Spoelstra better.
Okay. I don't agree with you, but I'll give you that one. That's the one that I'll just cede to you and go, okay. There's one more that makes sense.
Pop.
And I think most of that's historical. He's 106 years old.
Mm-hmm. Who's above him in your book?
Rick Carlisle would have been the third. And then you're done. Like I am Seacrest out.
Right. Doc Rivers will not be taking the Los Angeles Lakers head coaching job. He says, quote, "No, I am not a candidate. I have a job, and I'm very happy in my job." And probably because you have a way better team in Philadelphia than you would have with the Los Angeles Lakers. So what food do you think's worth getting fired for?
Oh, good steak. A good steak, 100%. If you bring me a good steak, and I've already seen somebody say this in the comments, if you bring me a good steak and then you try to guilt me into not putting sauce on it, we'll fight. And I will literally pick it up off the plate and walk out and eat it like an apple. I don't care how good your steak is. It needs sauce on it.
Okay.
Everything needs sauce on it. You hand me a plain burger with no condiment on it, we will I will go old school and take my glove off and hit you with it.
Obviously, I don't think that there is a job that I don't know. I wouldn't think that a professional football league would fire you because you didn't like their food.
A professional football league would not. The USFL apparently will.
Oh.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
Is there anything you saw that you went, yeah, this is going to do it. This will be the one that lasts? You know who sat back on Saturday and Sunday and went, ha, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I
frankly don't know that he could do any better.
Oh, I do. Oh,
really?
I think he's already done better.
Oh, with the coaches?
Well, the coaches were a grand start.
Mm-hmm.
Just the whole thing. Now, my fear is this USFL thing is going to go so bad that some of that bad may spill over on his taters, and I'm nominally afraid of that, but not that much.
I don't know what the expectation should be. What should the expectation for
this or for what The Rock's doing?
For any of them,
because
they have all failed.
Well, there's a huge difference.
Okay, what's the huge difference?
Name me a name that has ever been attached to a league like this. I'm going back to Donald Trump in the 80s that had the name recognition of The Rock.
That's a good point.
Who runs the USFL?
No clue.
There you go. That's kind of my point. You don't get any There's no, oh, well, it's that guy.
Right.
You look at the XFL, you got Dean Blandino running the officials.
Mm-hmm.
You've got 8 head coaches that I know. Okay, case in point. Name the coach I just said. I literally told a story about him 10 minutes ago. Name him. Give me the name of the coach of the, I've forgotten the team name, Pittsburgh Maulers.
I forgot.
Kirby Wilson. If he walked in this studio right now, would you know who he was?
Hell no.
No. That's what you have to get over when you do these spring leagues. And if you watch the fan-controlled football thing, first of all, that is the most unwatchable product in the history of creation. I watched a 1.5-minute Twitter clip of that earlier and got mad at it.
Did you?
Because T.O.'s first catch in the fan-controlled football league.
What made you mad about it?
Just the overproduction of how this is the greatest thing that's ever happened. He's 80.
Well, I mean, it's the only thing they have. And that's kind of the point.
If you're going to do this, you have to have some credits and debits with name equity.
Mm-hmm.
Hines Ward, Rod Woodson, those guys give you name equity. I know who those guys are. They could end up being coaches in the league. The players are borderline irrelevant.
Okay.
I'm just going to level. The players are borderline. Name me the average fan that knows who the average XFL or USFL player is going to be.
There's not one.
No.
But
I literally am the biggest nerd you'll ever meet, and I only hit like half of them.
But I felt like that's what the first XFL did, was they at least took it and made it interesting with their weird rules and all of that.
Quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
The quarterbacks are what's important. Everything else is window dressing. Yes, it's good if you have a Donald Parham that's 9 feet tall and you go, hey, I've never seen that before. That's new. I've never seen a 6'9" tight end before.
Mm-hmm.
And a little novelty that doesn't hurt. But having a Bob Stoops and the guys that I mentioned earlier, that gives you some leverage. The USFL has nothing. I mean, it's visually somewhat appealing.
But
and
because
even
of
that, I don't think you did right.
But because of the coaches in the XFL, you believe that's going to be a greater success, or at least a more watchable product. The player pool is going to be drastically pretty much the same.
I don't know that I agree with you.
You think that there's going to be an up and coming prospect that's going to choose them over the NFL?
No.
I mean,
but the XFL had something that none of these other leagues have ever had.
Mm-hmm.
They could take guys that were booted off college teams. Kenny Robinson was booted at West Virginia, and he wound up in the XFL.
Right.
That helps. I mean, it's not a cure-all,
mm-hmm.
but it doesn't hurt.
I mean,
look, I'm going to say the same thing that Nancy Reagan used to say about pornography. I can't tell you, but I can point it out when I see it. There's a difference between these two. And I'm not going to lie, watching the USFL, down to even dumb things, like the font on that, the where did the ball land? I couldn't stop looking at it. And I know that's a nerdy thing I do. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm looking at it going, this looks so unbelievably cheesy. This looks like it was produced for $8.
Right. To me, your expectations have to be low for spring football. Because you're not going to get great talent. And, will it be more interesting because there are coaches that we know? Sure, but the level of competition is going to be
out on a limb.
drastic. I mean, it's going to be the same.
I'll go out on a limb.
Okay.
Within a month, the novelty of this is completely gone. I mean, completely gone.
I think it's close to being over now.
The rating was actually fine. The rating for the first game was fine. Now, we won't see the number for yesterday until later today.
Right. And we do have one more game to go because the Tampa Bay Bandits game got rained out because of thunderstorms in the area last night. That's another problem with spring football is you put it in a warm weather place, and what happens in April in warm weather places? Oh, no doubt.
About 4 o'clock rolls around, and it's Southern Storm, holy Moses, that looks like the end of times. That's another problem with spring football.
Yeah. So 7 o'clock tonight, you're going to get the final week 1 game of the USFL. Tampa Bay Bandits against the Pittsburgh Maulers tonight at 7 o'clock because of bad weather. I don't know. If the XFL tries to do the same thing that the USFL has done of having their games in the same place on the same day constantly.
But what does that affect the visual? They're not going to do that. I'll just go ahead and do it.
Yeah, it doesn't affect the visual, but it's just tell me you're a low-rate football league without telling me you're a low-rate football league.
Why do they always do these in Birmingham, Alabama? Like, why is that the haven for crap football? Like, hey, this looks like this is like the unlicensed. You remember when John Madden football first came out, and it was terrible, like 8-bit Nintendo. But then there would always be the rival game that had like the Pittsburgh Ironers and ridiculous nonsense like that. And you would
right.
this is garbage. Like, shoot this with a gun right now.
The Miami Sharks.
That was one. I think that actually was one.
Wait, that was the team from Any Given Sunday.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Use real teams.
Like
okay?
That, yeah.
That movie was good, but use real teams.
It was. It was a good movie.
Jason Trump said in the comments something about hyped college players in Alabama. Well, okay. I mean, I get that.
Right.
I can also argue that same thing would happen in 27 different cities in the South.
But what else are you doing in Birmingham, Alabama? I mean, I feel like that's much of the reason for this.
Cow wrestling.
Right.
Squirrel hunting.
There's some good fishing over there.
There's a lot of varmint-ing.
Right.
Varmint, adjective-ing. That's...
All right, we went way too long on the USFL here. Not unexpected, but
because it was reasonably funny.
It was. But you have to pay this off. So what was the sporting event that was simultaneously broadcast on two competing networks?
This is one of those stats that will be in the books forever. It was, let's see, 33, 20, 55 years.
Okay.
It was Super Bowl I.
Really?
The two things that were on competing major networks, Super Bowl I, the launch of the USFL.
Well, at the time,
woof.
I mean, at the time, I think that the novelty was about the same, wasn't it? The original thought behind the US or the AFL versus the NFL?
No, not like this.
Okay.
This was at least still the prime time. I mean, this was Vince Lombardi and Bart Starr. And,
right.
I mean, there was a merit to that. This was Shea Patterson and Paxton Lynch.
I'm not saying that the athletes weren't more heralded. I'm just saying at the time people thought that was going to be a bust too.
That's like saying that would be like somebody walking up to you and going, "I've only seen two movies, The Godfather and Biodome." There is a huge gap between those two things.
Yep.
Like, if you can agree on one, you should be able to agree on something else.
But they thought it would never last. I mean, all of the things, I obviously wasn't around for that because I'm not even 40 years old yet. I mean, we'll be very soon. But still, all of the things I've read about it, everybody thought, well, that's just a novelty because the NFL is just so far superior to.
And you know what brought the AFL
the
back?
AFL.
Joe Willie Namath.
Gosh, I knew that was coming. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. We got basketball tonight in the NBA. Second games of a few of the Western Conference series coming up tonight. Jeremy will have your picks coming up next.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
Hey guys, I'm Ziggy, your local Philly girl, owner of Ziggy's Bakery and Deli. I've created a traditional northern deli with only the most authentic pick cheesesteaks outside of Philadelphia, served with provolone, white American, or Cheese Whiz. Our other classic deli sandwiches are made with the best quality meats and cheeses, available sliced by the pound. Join us for breakfast for house-made bagels with our custom cream cheeses. Or for something heartier, try a pork roll, egg, and cheese or house-cured lox. Ziggy's Bakery and Deli, in the corner of Asheville Commons, 1550 Hendersonville Road, open 8 to 3, Tuesday through Saturday.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Welcome to Allstate, where we bring it all together. And bundling your home and auto is good, right? And it saves you up to 25%. It all comes together. Allstate. Here, better protection costs a whole lot less. You're in good hands with Allstate. Click, call, or visit allstate.com to save today.
Bundled savings discounts will vary by state. Saving up to 25% is a countrywide average of savings off the home policy. Combining the multiple policy discount for having auto insurance with Allstate and the welcome discount savings at enrollment.
You ever feel like when you're at work, everything you say sounds like this because you're completely unstimulated and you don't care?
But then, when you're talking to your friends about things you're truly interested in and passionate about, you sound like you're alive and loving every moment of it. Then maybe you should try podcasting with Spreaker from iHeart. It's the easiest way to podcast and get paid for it. Just head over to Spreaker.com, Spreaker, and start your voyage from ugh to woo!
Hey, I'm Miles Gray.
And I'm Jack O'Brien, and we want to tell you about our new podcast,
Miles and Jack got Mad Boosties, an NBA podcast from iHeartRadio. This is a weekly podcast about all the amazing moments that keep NBA fans coming back for more.
Basically, if you love basketball and you like to laugh, listen to Miles and Jack Got Mad Boosties, an NBA podcast on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
You're pretty particular about keeping a healthy body, particularly when it comes to what you're putting in it and on it. That's why the Walgreens Health and Wellness brand has over 2,000 products. Rigorously tested, Walgreens pharmacist recommended. And for a limited time, select Walgreens brand health and wellness products are buy one, get one 50% off, which is particularly kind to your wallet. Walgreens.
Offer valid through April 30th with My Walgreens. Restrictions apply. See details at walgreens.com/Walgreens brand.
DQ presents. Picture this. You stand before the awe-inspiring new signature stack burger menu at DQ and your mouth wonders, where have you been all my life? That's 5 taste bud tempting cheeseburgers with 100% real seasoned beef. You peek at the loaded A1 stack burger with 2 premium sauces. Then the flamethrower stack burger with tongue-tingling jalapeno bacon. Then you realize moments like these are exactly why we have the DQ signature stack burger menu. DQ. Happy tastes good. Get it delivered at DQ.com.
Coffee's for closers only. Get them the money!
Then when you get the money, you get the power.
That watch costs more than your car.
Then when you get the power, then you get the woman.
Man, the NBA playoffs there's something just really missing with this first round. Stop adding more teams! Got something to talk about in the second hour about that. But I got 4 picks for you in the NBA. First, the Utah Jazz are a 5-point favorite tonight at the Dallas Mavericks. With no Luka Doncic, that team is hard to watch. I believe these two set the NBA back 10 years on Saturday, and I'm not sure that they're not going to do it again. Give me the Jazz minus the 5. Next, the Toronto Raptors are a 7.5-point dog tonight at the Philadelphia 76ers. Look, I get how the first game went. James Harden wasn't particularly good. Joel Embiid wasn't particularly good, and they still managed to win pretty comfortably. That's moved this number too much. The Toronto Raptors are a good team. Not having Scotty Barnes, you've moved the number too much. It's just all too much. I still think Philadelphia wins, but 7.5 is a lot in a playoff game. Give me the Raptors plus 7.5. Finally, my 2022 NBA champion Denver Nuggets are a 7-point dog tonight at the Golden State Warriors. Over-under is 222. The Warriors discovered something in Game 1. Their new death lineup is absolutely terrifying. But I think there is a combat to it that we'll get to in the next hour. Give me the Nuggets plus 7 over 222.
Go and do likewise, gents. The money's out there. You pick it up, it's yours. You don't, I got no sympathy for you.
Take those wagers to betus.com. Use the promo code Sportsocracy. Get that 125% deposit bonus on whatever you put in up to $2,500.
Did you see that the new Warriors death lineup?
No.
They apparently had not done this really all year long. It was Curry, Thompson, Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins, and Draymond Green. They played together for like 5 minutes and they outscored the Nuggets by 14.
Wow.
That's ugly. And if you can't find a way to circumvent that, I argue that there very much is a way to do as such.
Mm-hmm.
And his name is Nikola Jokic.
Your MVP.
Oh, 100%. Your 2022 NBA MVP, Nikola Jokic.
3 games in the NBA tonight. We'll see how they turn out. And we will talk more about the NBA playoffs coming up in the next hour.
I fully believe there has never been an angrier team at getting what they wanted than the Dallas Mavericks. I'll elaborate on that in the next hour.
You ever heard the term, you are what you eat? I found out.
Then you're a lot. I just couldn't.
Wow. Wow.
It's too easy.
Look, I may
have
have
it up there. I'm going to hit it.
I may have been a lot, but I'm much less than I was. And I found out over the weekend as we went to the race in Tennessee that that's kind of true. You are what you eat. And if you eat healthy, you're going to feel a whole lot better than if you don't eat healthy. I'll just put it that way. I have lost nearly 60 pounds in 4.5 months on the PhD weight loss program. I am slim and trim, or at least as much as one can be in a just under 5-month trip.
He's forgetting the myrrh. It's like Christmas.
Yes.
Gold, frankincense, and myrrh.
Myrrh.
Trim myrrh.
Trim myrrh.
I have always had issues with sleep, and I have always had issues with just being really lazy when it comes to food and eating whatever the most convenient thing near me is. PhD is taking care of all those things. I'm sleeping better. I'm back to my high school weight, and I feel fantastic, and it's all thanks to the program and the food at PhD Weight Loss.
Dr. Ashley Lucas's plan at PhD Weight Loss can help you lose weight and lose it fast. Again, I am down almost 60 pounds, and I feel amazing. I'm still only halfway to my goal, but I feel like it's doable now with PhD. Go to myphdweightloss.com. It's myphdweightloss.com. Why are the big wide receivers looking for bags in the NFL, sitting out of their mandatory workouts? Well, we'll talk about it up next after SportsCenter.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, cold front marching on through Asheville tonight. Couple of sprinkles out there and a much colder tone to the forecast overnight tonight and again tomorrow night. It's not record cold, but we will flirt with freezing here. And the humidity taking a nosedive into the Tuesday forecast. We're down to 34 degrees with a sprinkle or two. Snowflake possible in the higher elevations tonight. Sunshine Tuesday, high 55, low 34. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Are you a safe driver? Are you looking to save money? With DriveWise from Allstate, the safer you drive, the more you can save. At Allstate, better protection costs a whole lot less. Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today.
On the podcast Long Shot Payback, hear the remarkable story of U.S. women's national soccer team striker Jessica McDonald and her rise from homelessness to World Cup champion. Sports writer Alex Andreev speaks with McDonald about her amazing journey and how she's using her voice to battle inequities in her sport.
The whole stadium cheering for us, equal pay. Equal pay. That's a movement.
Equal pay. Listen to Long Shot Payback on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
You've heard the latest news, traffic, and weather. But there's something else you should hear. Consider getting a COVID-19 booster, as recommended by the CDC. Brought to you by BioNTech and Pfizer.
Did you know select Ingles Markets now offer curbside service? Shopping has never been easier with all the quality and service you expect from Ingles. Visit ingles-markets.com to find a store near you and start shopping.
The Sportsocracy.
Pull up your pants, take off the bra, and be a man!
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown with breaking news. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports Denzel Ward of the Browns will now be the highest-paid corner in league history. He'll get a 5-year, $100 million contract extension with $71 million guaranteed. Adam also reports wideouts A.J. Brown of the Titans, Terry McLaurin of the Commanders, and Deebo Samuel of the 49ers will not get on the field during voluntary offseason programs. They're all looking for new contracts. McLaurin does plan to report. Colin Kaepernick says he'd accept being a backup NFL quarterback.
I know I have to find my way back in.
Okay.
So, yeah, if I have to come in as a backup, that's fine. But that's not where I'm staying. And when I prove that I'm a starter, I want to be able to step on the field as such. I just need that opportunity to walk through the door.
Colin Kaepernick on the I Am Athlete podcast. There are two new well-known minority owners of the Seattle Kraken, former Seattle Seahawks running back Marshawn Lynch and Seattle-born rapper Macklemore. The Kraken are missing the playoffs in their first NHL season.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
In terms of Robbie Anderson, everybody talks to one another. And so I'm sure Jarvis Landry, OBJ have spoke to Robbie Anderson of what they feel about Baker Mayfield.
The guys will be back Tuesday morning at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
Now, here's your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, Spring. That's Spring. Enter that keyword at our website now for a chance to win $1,000.
Log on to ESPNABL.com.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy, presented by Ingles Supermarkets.
Welcome back into the Ingles Studio here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Don't forget, we are seen everywhere on YouTube, live streaming the show each and every day. And we also stream the happy hours live, only on YouTube at 5 o'clock. Today we'll be doing Mullet's Draft Q&A. All your draft questions answered by @ESPN Draft Nerd.
There are a lot of things happening at the top of the draft, a lot of things that I have heard, a few guys that are really rising. One guy that we've talked about a lot that is dropping like a rock.
You want to find out who that is? Tune in with us on YouTube at 5 o'clock this evening, immediately following this here program. We always come to you from the Ingles Studio, and we're brought to you by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings, and Deebo Samuel, DK Metcalf, Terry McLaurin, and A.J. Brown all have one thing in common. They're all great wide receivers in the NFL, and they all deserve to be paid. And they all want to be paid.
And I'm not sure that they're all going to be paid by the teams that they're currently on.
Really? Which one? Which one do you think is most likely to be on a different team sooner rather than later?
I would say in order, Terry McLaurin is the least likely to be traded. I would say A.J. Brown is next. And then there's a big gap between Deebo Samuel and DK Metcalf. I would have DK at 1. DK is the most likely to not be on his team anymore.
I would agree with that.
There's a lot of noise around Seattle. And I'm going to be honest with you, if there was nothing to this, the teams could have shut this down. They haven't. None of them have. And there's a very simple reason for that.
Okay, what is it?
If you can't drive a stick, what good does it do you to have a Maserati in the driveway? I mean, right now, Seattle's quarterback is Drew Lock. I don't care if he has DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Jerry Rice, and Steve Largent playing wide receiver for him. It's still not going to be good. So why would I pay that guy $25 million? Especially when teams are willing to come off high in draft capital. It is not what you're being told. I'm going to tell you that. definitively.
So
it is not what you're being told.
So there is not a top 10 pick in the future for any of these guys.
The New York Jets have not offered 10 for DK Metcalf. If you don't believe me, I'll post screenshots of that being told to me by multiple people close to that organization.
Right.
It is the team I pull for. I do know a lot of people up there.
The latest
Because I'll tell you this right now, if they had, Seattle could not have gotten him to the airport quick enough. Bye.
The latest wide receiver revolution in the NFL, I feel, that's what has spurred all of this. Seeing the giant contracts that have been thrown out by teams to Tyreek Hill and to Devontae Adams. Thank you very much. And then, of course, there's Christian Kirk getting his possibly $84 million contract from the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The Christian Kirk thing was that was the impetus of this. Devontae Adams, we all knew Devontae was going to get his money.
Sure.
We just thought it was going to be in Green Bay. We knew Tyreek Hill was going to get his money. We just thought it was going to be in Kansas City. Now, I really want you to think about what I'm getting ready to say. Take the 4 teams involved here, and I'm going to steal a page out of your book and throw some shade at the Las Vegas Raiders.
Okay.
Raiders fans, I still love you. At the end of the day, where does the line of demarcation between these 4 franchises happen? Kansas City Chiefs, Las Vegas Raiders, Miami Dolphins, Green Bay Packers. 2 of these are stalwart franchises.
Mm-hmm.
2 of them have been mediocre for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason for that. Because the smart teams, Kansas, and look, I'm not faulting the Raiders. I fully understand why you did this. I'm not going to say you were stuck with Derek Carr, but you kind of were. I mean, look, nobody's ever going to argue that Derek Carr is a top 7 quarterback in this league. I think he fits solidly in 10, 11, 12. How do you prop guys like that up? You have to go get the guy.
Right.
Green Bay and Kansas City are looking at this going, we could have 5 dudes that we picked up on the side of the road being thrown to by Patrick Mahomes, and it would still be fine.
Mm-hmm.
You get the draft capital, you replace these guys. I keep hearing this narrative that there is a huge chasm between this receiver class and last year's, and that might be the most patently false thing I've ever heard in my life. Well, there's no Jamar Chase. Well, there's never been a Jamar Chase before. So, okay.
Justin Jefferson.
But there's not a Devontae Smith. Yeah, there is. His name's Garrett Wilson. They're the exact same player.
Mm-hmm.
I would argue I like Garrett Wilson better. There's not a Jalen Waddle. Yeah, there is. His name's Jameson Williams. And I would argue that I like Jameson Williams better.
Okay.
Yeah, there's not the number 1 guy. But there's a lot of guys that are really good. And so teams that have great quarterbacks, I don't really care. I don't have to have that guy. I can try, and I think what Kansas City's doing there's certainly some merit to it. They think they're going to be able to get by with some combination of Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Juju Smith-Schuster, which is, by the way, the longest tandem of names in the history of the NFL, and a rookie. They think they're going to be just fine. We will be in no discernibly different shape than we were.
And I think they're right.
I do too. Now, where that becomes a problem is when you have Drew Lock, Trey Lance, Ryan Tannehill, and those 4 receivers are looking at what next year could be and thinking,
I am never going to financially recover from this.
And they might not. It is way more paramount to a receiver who their quarterback is than it is to a quarterback of who their receiver is when you're at the highest ends of the league.
Okay.
And you look at the desperate franchises. Mine's one of them. I'm just going to be honest with you. Mine is one of them because they've called on Deebo, they've called on A.J. Brown, and they've called on DK Metcalf. As them to this point, they don't like what the compensation would have to be for the contract they're going to give. Do I think that's going to stay that way? No. Now, who's the first to blink? I would say probably Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think DK Metcalf plays another game for the Seattle Seahawks.
Okay. So
and I think that's a mixture of him wanting out and them wanting him out.
So that's a draft day trade to you.
I'm not going to say it's a draft day trade. I could see it happening anytime.
Mm-hmm.
Seattle is playing a long game here. There's no team, and I said this last week, and yes, this probably will change 2 more times between now and April 28th. The most likely team in the top 10 to trade out, Seattle. Why? They know what they are. That team knows exactly what they are. We're not a playoff team. It doesn't matter if we can pay DK Metcalf $25 million. It doesn't change anything. Half a game, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
With him, you'll go 6-11, 7-10. Without him, you'll go 5-12 or 6-11. It's 6 one way, half dozen the other.
Right.
But then you look at a team like the Jets that is absolutely obsessed with, we took Zach Wilson at 2, we have to make this work. They'll do something dumb, especially when you have an aggressive GM.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not the only one. The Baltimore Ravens are a really bright franchise. Secret time, they were the other team in on Deebo Samuel, and they still are. Which, by the way, just I want that to happen so bad.
Why?
Just because it would be the most, like, Madden video game offense in the history of time. Like, oh, look, we have 9 guys that get the ball in their hand, and it's
gone.
The video game.
Yeah. It's the fastest a collection of weapons that you've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got to throw the quarterback in there, too.
Mm-hmm. And you look at San Francisco, the thing that would keep Deebo Samuel from being dealt is that San Francisco feels like they're a contender, and they do feel like he's a special talent. Mm-hmm. I don't know that they believe he's worth $25 million. And I'm not sure that I think he's worth $25 million. And I love him. I've loved him since he came out of college. He's hurt a lot.
Mm-hmm.
A lot.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes him – that's what puts him up there with DK. Because you look at the quarterback and go, okay, you don't have Deebo. Well, you still got George Kittle. You still got Brandon Ayuk. We can add a couple other pieces, and I think we'll be fine.
Right. But are we learning because of what's happened in this offseason that wide receivers aren't all that important?
Depends on who your quarterback is.
Okay.
If you're one of the premier franchises in this league, you're completely set at quarterback. No, I really don't care who your receivers are. I mean, yes, a Stephon Diggs takes Josh Allen from good project young quarterback to superstar.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're here. Let's say Stephon Diggs had not re-signed in Buffalo. Do I of a sudden think he would turn into Paxton Lynch? No. He's still a good quarterback. Now, does it help? Absolutely. But if I've got Pat Mahomes, I mean, the Green Bay Packers made this as clear as they could possibly make it. We fully believe we will be in the exact same position with a rookie, Sammy Watkins, and Robert Tonyan as we were with Devontae Adams. And I don't disagree with them.
You don't?
I don't disagree with them. Because at the end of the day, you're still terrified of what Aaron Rodgers can do.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ever really able to just line up man-to-man, throw the house at him, and consequences be damned? No, because it's still Aaron Rodgers. You know you can do that too? Tua Tagovailoa.
Mm-hmm.
I can send 7 at him and go, I'm not real sure you can hit Tyreek Hill.
So these big contracts, will they be something that these teams look back on and they regret doing it? Miami probably will, you know, as much as I've been a Tua defender, I think they're the closest to regretting that decision.
I don't think the Raiders will regret Devontae Adams. That ties all of the things together and it keeps you competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Am I telling you you're going to win a Super Bowl? No. You weren't winning a Super Bowl without him. So, I mean, you're taking your shot. You're making the best of a bad situation. I feel like the Titans, whatever it is A.J. Brown wants, you better give it to him.
I agree.
I mean, really think about how that team has drafted receivers over the years. It ain't great.
I can't even think of one off the top of my head.
Ton.
No, but that's kind of my point. Is like I'm trying to think, who have they drafted? I mean, obviously, other than A.J. Brown, that was ever any good. Corey Davis. I guess Corey Davis would be the number 2.
Who they took at 5.
Right. He would have to be the second best.
Oh, yeah, it gets rather bleak. There's one in my head, and I can't for the life of me remember. Oh, Dorial Green Beckham. That's the one I was trying to remember, who you took at 40.
I do remember him.
And every person that does what I do went, they didn't talk to him once, did they?
But he was another one that was – he was kind of like a Trayvon Walker. Like he just looked so perfect for the role.
Well, and then he spoke, and you went, oh, yeah, you don't make the best decisions.
Right.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, Google it.
I mean, I find myself being in a weird position because I've always looked at it as you signed a contract or you got drafted to a certain team, And you should honor the contract. I always used to feel that way. And now I've changed around to, if you look at A.J. Brown and Terry McLaurin and Deebo Samuel, those three guys will play this year on an average salary of $2 million.
Mm-hmm. If I'm
That
Terry
is
McLaurin,
ridiculous.
If I'm Terry McLaurin, first of all, I would go back and watch the tape. It's funny, Keyshawn Johnson on the morning show this morning said, these receivers talk. I feel like Michael Pittman has already picked up the phone and called Terry McLaurin and said, get your money, because I am a gigantic human, and he tried to take my head off more than once.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm Terry McLaurin, I'm not touching the field again without a new deal. No way. And Washington will give it to him. Tennessee should give one to A.J. Brown. As Tyler Cunningham said in our YouTube comments, they are in love with Christian Watson. They are not the only ones. There are a lot of people in love with him. Another kid named Isaiah Weston. Just remember I said that name. You'll see. I think in the Scouts Inc. ranking, I think he was 360. That name stuck in my head, or that number stuck in my head. If he goes at a spot in this draft that does not have 2 digits in it, I'll be stunned. Do you know why?
Why?
Because he's a 6'5", 41-inch vert receiver from Northern Iowa that ran a 4.42.
Mm-hmm. And is he worth it, or are you saying that he's a... Oh, okay. All
no,
right.
Good
All
Lord, no. I mean, he's good. I like him.
Right.
I had him going in like the 6th. And now he's going to go in day 2.
Mm-hmm.
Because teams are so obsessed with, if you don't have the guy, you don't have that. And I'll be honest with you, I want you to start thinking about your team and the teams that you are rivaled with. Think about your quarterback. Think about the situation.
Mm-hmm.
How badly do you feel like you need to prop them up with weapons? That should tell you how you really feel about your team.
Right.
Ryan Tannehill in Miami with nothing. The ghost of what Devontae Parker was supposed to be. Bum, shouldn't have been in the league, draft bust. Goes to Tennessee, all of a sudden he has the run game. Then he has A.J. Brown. Had the ghost of Julio Jones past. And all of a sudden, now number 1 seed in the AFC.
Okay.
But then you look to Trey Lance. You look to Trey Lance in San Francisco, and Legless in our YouTube comments said that the 49ers are a quarterback away. They think that's Trey Lance, and I'll tell you why. It doesn't it's Cam Newton syndrome. It doesn't matter how accurate of a quarterback he is. It doesn't, because he's a threat. And it changes the way you have to line up against them. It changes the way you defend them. And I think they look at Deebo Samuel and go, are you completely necessary? Are you 100% necessary to him being good?
How much of a question is that, though?
Oh,
in reality,
it depends on how you plan on running the system. Look at the New England Patriots. New England made the playoffs last year.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have a weapon on that team that even kind of scared you. Why? Because they schemed them all open. Kendrick Bourne with the ball in his hands. He's tough to bring down.
Mm-hmm.
He's a yak guy. Well, the problem is that he can't get open. Problem is he doesn't have very good hands. So I manufacture your touches. I take all of the decision-making away from Mac Jones, and I just have a bunch of those guys. That's why I've laughed at people who think New England's going to take a receiver in the top 25. Like, oh, okay. Yeah, it goes back to that Maserati in the garage thing.
Right.
Like, oh, yeah, I can't drive stick. It's a really pretty paperweight that sits in my garage.
But we get trapped into that of thinking, you know, if you have a question about your quarterback, you need to give him the great weapons. And as Baker Mayfield's face flashes up on my screen on ESPN, I think look at that. Look at that situation. You had Baker Mayfield and you had 2 great weapons. You had Odell Beckham Jr. and you had Jarvis Landry. Those were great guys.
I feel like you're being very liberal with the word great.
At the time,
You're
they
great,
made
my
that deal.
greater.
When they made that deal with the New York Giants, he had his problems, but he was a great wide receiver, we thought.
It's not really the one that I'm objecting to. I'm looking at Jarvis Landry going, I don't think I've ever looked at him and gone, you're great.
He was a great slot receiver.
There you go. You forgot that second part.
Right.
That's kind of like
I'm not saying he's Devontae Adams or on
like
that
looking
level.
at a ham sandwich and going, you are a great ham sandwich. You are not a great meal. You're a great ham sandwich. Okay?
He was really good chicken salad.
You put that up against I'm gonna need chicken salad before this day's over.
Rotisserie chicken salad from Ingles Supermarkets. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
You stole it from me. That's exactly what I was going to say.
That's by far my favorite chicken salad.
That's mine too.
But I mean, if you have a question about your quarterback, you think you have to put great weapons around him, and that's why people get caught into that.
And that's why mediocre teams that are completely leveraged are going to go higher than currently. That's the reason none of these guys have been moved.
Mm-hmm.
The Jets, I can tell you definitively, have offered 38 for 2 of these guys. Maybe 3. I just can't confirm it on the third one. All these teams look around and go, nope, we can do better than that.
Mm-hmm.
Might not be with you. Might be with somebody else. But we can do better than that.
But can you do better than that?
Absolutely you can.
Okay.
Absolutely. Especially in this draft where there's no clear all right, be honest with yourself. Who's the best receiver in this draft?
I think it's Jameson Williams.
I think it's Drake London.
Okay.
And I'll be honest with you ask that question to 10 more people, you probably get 3 different answers.
True. Some will say Treylon Burks. Some will say Chris Olave. Some will say Garrett Wilson. Okay.
And what that tells you is that there's not a clear no doubt number 1.
There's not a clear no doubt number 1, but there are really good wide receivers coming up.
And after the break, I'll tell you why. Yes, that is relevant, but it's only relevant to certain teams. And this is the reason that certain teams just keep circling the drain, and other teams, no matter how bleak it looks, will continue to be relevant as long as the brain trust is in place.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, cold front marching on through Asheville tonight. Couple of sprinkles out there and a much colder tone to the forecast overnight tonight and again tomorrow night. It's not record cold, but we will flirt with freezing here. And the humidity taking a nosedive into the Tuesday forecast. We're down to 34 degrees with a sprinkle or 2. Snowflake possible in the higher elevations tonight. Sunshine Tuesday, high 55, low 34. I'm meteorologist Scott Lauriamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
240 east and westbound slow on the Captain Jeff Bowen Bridge. 26 westbound delays approaching Long Shoals Road to the Blue Ridge Parkway. 40 westbound Haywood County crawling between Fines Creek Road and Harmon Den Road. In Haywood County near Canton, NC 215 Old River Road near Sunny Drive. An accident here. NC Highway Patrol reporting the roadway is closed. Near Inca Village, Sardis Road northbound between Sand Hill Road and Pond Road, heavy delays. I'm Lee Minfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors.
Ray Magliozzi here. I don't cook much, but when I need ingredients for my car, eBay Motors has 122 million options. So whether I toasted my transmission or cooked my clutch, eBay Motors has all the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors, let's ride.
Another prescription, another surgery, here we go again. But the joint pain is still here.
The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting a different result. Try something new that can lead you to a better life.
Football champion Emmitt Smith's talking about QC Kinetics, all-natural, non-invasive alternatives to surgery and harmful pain medications.
I tried to avoid as many of those things as possible because I did not want to get hooked on pain meds. I didn't want those things to hamper my life.
Patients across the country are saying no to pain meds and discovering QC Kinetics all-natural, biologic, long-lasting solutions to pain relief. Regenerative treatments that help your body restore damaged tissue and get rid of the pain.
The natural biologics that QC Kinetics is providing you gives your body a chance to naturally heal itself.
End the cycle of pain meds and avoid surgery.
Call QC Kinetics, 826-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. QC Kinetics, 828-333-9517.
Welcome to Allstate, where we bring it all together. And bundling your home and auto is good, right? And it saves you up to 25%. It all comes together. Allstate. Here, better protection costs a whole lot less. You're in good hands with Allstate. Click, call, or visit allstate.com to save today.
Bundled savings discounts will vary by state. Saving up to 25% is a countrywide average of savings off the home policy. Combining the multiple policy discount for having auto insurance with Allstate and the welcome discount savings at enrollment.
That's the sound of your KFC chicken sandwich order. That's what happens next. Your chicken is Kentucky Fried to order. And that's the sound of your chicken being put on a brioche bun. Brioche buns don't make a lot of noise. Then we add sauce and pickles and serve your sandwich to you piping hot. Order the KFC chicken sandwich. It's Kentucky Fried to order. on the KFC app or at KFC.com. At participating locations, prices may vary.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I am Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
The Sportsocracy.
What are you people? On dope?
Deebo Samuel, A.J. Brown, and Terry McLaurin all reportedly going to skip out on the field workouts this offseason with their teams. They're looking for new contracts.
It's because they're looking at their quarterback situation and saying,
I am never going to financially recover from this.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you don't have the guy to deliver you the ball, what's going to happen to your value?
And I have a feeling that when they sit down and actually negotiate the contract, their take's going to be,
the disrespect around this place is ending today.
It depends on the situation. Like I said, Tennessee, I'm paying A.J. Brown. Mm-hmm. And now look, I am an unabashed A.J. Brown lover. He is my favorite receiver in this league. Yes, there are injury issues, but he is just an absolute freak of nature, and I think he is arguably top 3 best receivers in this league.
Mm-hmm.
Deebo, I probably pay. DK Metcalf, not a shot. There is no shot in this world I'm paying him unless I'm taking a quarterback at 9, which the Seattle Seahawks are not going to do.
Right. But is he worth that to another team?
Depends on who the team is. To the Jets, doesn't matter what the number is. To the Dolphins, it didn't matter what the number was with Tyreek Hill. We are going to get Tyreek Hill.
Okay.
Because we need that guy that can be the Tua safety blanket. Get him the ball and just let him do good things.
So you would be okay if your Jets gave $25 million to DK Metcalf?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I mean, what's the alternative? You're going to throw Zach Wilson out there with look, I love Elijah Moore.
Mm-hmm.
Elijah Moore, Corey Davis, and Braxton Berrios.
Jamison Williams at 10. You could do that.
Yeah, and that thought is getting warmer and warmer, and it gives me great tension in my chest when I think about it.
But part of me looks at this and goes, these guys want major money now before these other guys can come in and be the next Jamar Chase, before they can be the next Justin Jefferson. Because you've got these superstars that are coming into the league at the wide receiver position, and that's going to devalue you. So now they're looking around the league going, look at what Tyreek got. Look at what they gave Christian Kirk, for God's sakes. I need money now because I don't know how much longer this will continue. And of the $20 million contract for a wide receiver.
Oh, that's never going to stop.
Okay.
The toothpaste out of the
now
tube
that
on
we're
that
here.
one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the toothpaste out of the tube on that
one.
The numbers are going up. The Apple money is coming because Apple is going to have Sunday Ticket unless something drastically changes.
And then you got Amazon getting into the mix.
Which also makes me angry that I'm going to have an Apple product. Ugh. The only Apple product I like is juice. But you just look at it. It's think about the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay.
All right, they've been good forever.
Mm-hmm.
How many good receivers have come and gone out of that building and nothing changes?
Mm-hmm.
Ben wasn't great. The last 5 years, Ben Roethlisberger has not been great. The offense has still been good because the culture's good.
Mm-hmm.
The Jets' culture is terrible. So is the Jacksonville Jaguars and a slew of others.
Yeah. Houston Texans keep coming to mind.
I have to say this. So we've been doing 7-round mock drafts, perfect mock drafts from the best that I think your draft hall can look like. Some Houston Texans fan decided to chime in and say, if this happened, we would be calling for Nick Casario's job. And my response was, you're not already doing that?
Right. What has shown you
You're looking at this right now going, he is our fearless leader.
Right.
Okay.
I'm still on the fence about how this is going to work out.
But, I mean, Rob Johnson, one of our resident Washington fans, said if Washington doesn't pay McLaurin, I'm out. And you should be.
Mm-hmm.
Because historically, you have not done a great job of drafting receivers. Kansas City, I feel like they can find some dude in the 4th round, and it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Is it going to be very Mecole Hardman-esque? Yeah. Got news for you. If Mecole Hardman was a free agent right now, he would get more money than you think.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what those teams do. You have the great quarterback. The great quarterback can make an average receiver really good.
These are
a great receiver can make an average quarterback really good.
Mm-hmm.
If you have both pieces, yay, that's wonderful. I look at the Bengals with Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. I will do whatever I have to do to nurture that relationship forever.
These, aside from DK Metcalf, are already wide receivers who have propped up bad quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you look at any of the, you look at the quarterbacks for these guys. Jimmy Garoppolo, you can have your thoughts about whether or not he's good or not. I think he is a good quarterback.
3 NFC championship games.
Not a great quarterback.
Scoreboard.
But you agree with that. He's not a great quarterback. He's a good quarterback.
I think he is a grossly underappreciated quarterback.
Right.
The sheer fact that there are teams going, wow, we can take a shot on Baker Mayfield.
Ryan Tannehill, good, not great.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at Terry, and that's the one that I agree with you on.
If I'm Terry McLaurin, I'm not putting on shoes until you give me a new deal. I have seen what Carson Wentz does to receivers, and I don't want to be next until I have that assurance.
All right, let's get weird.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
Oh, when you're traveling abroad, it's important to know what you can and cannot bring back into the country. And just last week, U.S. Customs and Border Protection officers at Washington Dulles International Airport, they found something in somebody's suitcase that's not supposed to be brought back into the United States. And here's the thing. Don't eat weird foods.
Oh, this should be fun.
I get that it might be a delicacy in the country that you're coming from.
You're not entitled to say that.
What?
Mm-mm. Don't eat weird foods. You're not entitled to say that. That's something I can say.
Oh, okay.
Because you eat weird foods.
I mean, I do eat weird foods.
Gas station hot dogs.
And
liver mush.
Okay.
Things that fell on the floor.
Okay, so I'm a little more adventurous than you.
Cheap. That's adventurous and cheap are weird. It's weird how they became synonymous right there.
A man came into Washington Dulles International Airport traveling from Ghana, and they found 3.5 pounds of cooked bat meat in his suitcase. Yeah, bat meat. Apparently, it is a delicacy over there, and they refer to it as bush meat, which I don't even kind of get, and I think we should move on before Jeremy says something he's not supposed to. It is not allowed to be brought back into the United States because why?
Because if you eat it, you turn into Batman. That was immediately where my brain went.
Either that or a vampire.
So you can eat it and not die. I am willing to try this to see if me and Elon Musk can turn into the new Batman and Robin and fight crime all over the world.
Bats carry infectious diseases. We all know this.
So do birds.
Like there's rabies. Like that's the most common thing.
You can cook that out. I feel very sure of that.
But also, bushmeat has been linked to Ebola, which is not a good thing in case you were unaware. And then, of course, the one thing that it's been tied to since about 2 years ago, the coronavirus.
Oh, yeah.
Remember how that all started with the whole bat meat in the market thing out in China? Look, they didn't arrest the guy, but it is crimes to bring in things that you're not supposed to. When you're traveling abroad, please know what you can and cannot bring back in. This guy not only tried to bring in 3.5 pounds of bat meat, which was still attached to the skeleton of the bat, by the way. Yeah. So when and one of the stories that I found on this, they had the scan of the suitcase that you clearly saw the bat skeleton in his suitcase and thought that was going to be okay. He brought in a whole bunch of plants and things like that you're not supposed to bring into the country. It's just don't. Just don't. Quit eating weird things.
Shaving cream, shampoo, winged varmint.
Exactly.
I have two weird news stories, both because they have to do with the same kind of thing and because I find both of them to be absolutely insane. A California-based finance company has agreed to pay more than $900,000 to settle allegations that it was illegally leasing dogs in Massachusetts.
Leasing them?
There's nothing about that sentence that I didn't need explained, so I did some digging. Apparently, in Massachusetts, it is illegal to lease a dog. However, it is legal to lease a dog in 42 states. Why? Why would you do that? It's not like one of its tires is going to go out, like leasing a car, and it is a living critter. So immediately where my brain went, and yes, this is a thing, somewhere there has been a Doberman Pinscher repossession.
You forgot to pay your $25 this month. We need that dog back.
I have watched a lot of stupid television. You talk about a show that I would be present and accounted for. Poodle repossession. A&E would be all over it. I want you to think about what dogs do when people they don't know try to do things with them. What was the guy that did weird jobs? Or the worst jobs in America? Jeff Rowe or something like that?
Yeah.
How has he never done dog repossessor? That's got to be a thing. If it's 900, do you realize how many dog leases that is? They had to forgive $175,000. They had to pay $175,000 in restitution, $50,000 to the state of Massachusetts in taxes.
Wow.
And had to forgive $700,000 in existing dog leases. Who are these people? Go adopt a dog. Adopt, not rescue. Unless the dog was drowning in the middle of the ocean, you did not rescue it, okay? Hayes Permar said that while I was on the Adam Gold Show Friday. I had never heard somebody say that out loud that way. For that. I 100% agree with you. You adopted it. Mm-hmm. My other story, the Bearded Butcher. First of all, this guy looks like he could be my brother.
Serial killer?
Nope, there are two of them. Apparently, they own a cattle farm.
Okay.
And there have been some very strange things happening around their cattle farm. And they went on Tucker Carlson's program on Friday and said that they believe they know what is happening to their cows because they're finding cows out in the field with perfect amputations. Aliens.
Aliens.
It is aliens.
Or stealing cow legs.
And here's the explanation, and this is why I told this story, because I want you to see at what point did Jeremy go, who's going to tell them? They said it would take up to 12 to 18 months to perfect the ability to sever the limbs without leaving anything crime scene-wise.
Mm-hmm.
You do realize 12 to 18 months is not that long, right? Like, I feel like there's a community college class for this that makes a whole lot more sense than aliens are doing it.
So they're just
How
like
do you
showing
go
up?
on television and go, our skill is so specific. I took a class whilst playing Wordle, and I perfected it, but nobody else could do it.
Mm-hmm.
That it has to be aliens. Or maybe there's some weirdo that's cutting off leg limbs, and we should be searching for that person.
So these were live cows.
Yes. And they lived. That's the crazy part. They're just coming in and whacking off legs and stuff.
Yeah. So somebody was surgically removing their parts.
And apparently they have there's nothing that you could do with it. Like, it's not like, hey, you're selling it because somebody out there really likes cow leg meat. That's not a thing. They're taking completely worthless parts. So apparently, my thought would be, maybe I watch too many true crime shows. Somewhere there is somebody that makes people at their office wildly uncomfortable.
Wait, what are worthless parts?
Legs and things like that. It wouldn't be. Everything has a worth because it's a protein.
Right. I was going to say
it's not worth what it would take to get them.
Ah. Okay.
Like if you were going to do this, you would just hijack the cow.
Uh-huh.
Because the expensive parts are not this.
So it was legs and other things.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily other parts of the cow.
No. This was not like meat harvesting or anything like
They
that.
weren't like shopping for oysters.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
No. Not that. Just
stop doing weird things.
Okay, there's somewhere there is some guy that has an apron and maybe some very sharp cutlery, and people around him go, that dude's weird. There's something weird about that guy, and I can't put my finger on it. Maybe you should look at that guy and not aliens.
By the way, it was Mike Rowe, not Mark Rowe, the Dirty Jobs guy.
Mark Rowe.
Mike
Rowe. I was about to say macro is a thing that you're comparing.
We are going to have a match again. The match is coming up for the fourth time?
Mm-hmm. And now we've just completely tapped out on golfers.
Yeah, because, after Tiger and Phil, they did it with DeChambeau last time.
Who
and
is
Phil.
Awful.
And, yeah, it wasn't very entertaining. It was weird.
We need Charles Barkley.
And actually, I think that was the breaking point for me. Remember how much of a big fan I was at the beginning of the golf return
and
of,
I kept telling
Bryson
you,
DeChambeau?
stop doing that. Yeah, you're on the wrong side of this argument.
Yeah, and then I think it was the match that I went, oh, yeah, this guy's not good. He's good at hitting the ball a long way, but he's just not very entertaining.
You're just awful. Like, you're so bad.
It's not as entertaining as I thought he was. But now we are going to have another celebrity golf match, and it's only going to be NFL quarterbacks. We're going to have the greatest of all time with Tom Brady. Let's see what I did there. And then Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. Does this raise the level of interest for you?
100%. I'll watch it. I'll 100% watch it. It got my brain going of what activities would I watch high-level athletes participate in?
2-on-2 basketball comes to mind.
Yeah, nobody's going to do that. Too high of a risk of injury.
Oh, yeah, that's
you
true.
have to take out things. This has to be things that you cannot get hurt at.
Okay.
I would spend an hour of my life watching Shaquille O'Neal and Charles Barkley throw darts in a bar whilst consuming alcohol.
That could
be fun. I think 7 beers in, Charles Barkley throwing darts would be hilarious.
Yeah, it would definitely have to be on late night cable television.
Oh yeah, you're not putting that's going to be behind a paywall of some kind.
That's only on the Twitch stream.
And I'll totally. Play-by-play has never really interested me. I would do that.
Play-by-play of them playing darts.
I would 100% do that.
So you're going to have the GOATs against the Young Guns in the fourth match, and I think I'm more interested in this than I was the others. I mean, I get having superstar golfers participate in this it was fun, but now I feel like everybody's on a level playing field.
Well, you've hard capped yourself. I mean, who is – and you figured it out with Justin Thomas. Like, okay, I mean, it's cute but non-golf fans don't care about him.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get people involved in this? Oh, do what we know people care about. We'll throw 4 NFL quarterbacks out there. I guarantee you're going to have all kinds of people attached to this. And this also raised another question. Which one of these is the worst golfer? Because I feel like I unequivocally know who it is.
I would probably say it's Patrick Mahomes.
I mean, we've seen Brady. We've seen Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, I don't agree with you.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay. I've never seen Patrick Mahomes play golf. So.
I feel like it has to be Josh Allen.
Okay.
I mean, it's a kid that grew up in Wyoming. So I'm just going to say, I feel like Josh Allen's golf repertoire is, hey, look how hard I hit my drive. Okay, now hit this sand wedge. I don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do that at all.
Josh Allen did apparently play at the Pebble Beach Pro-Am, but I mean, I know he didn't make the cut, but I don't know how good he was.
If you didn't make the cut at the Pebble Beach Pro-Am, you are bad.
You couldn't do it.
Make the cut at the Pebble Beach Pro-Am?
Yeah.
Challenge accepted. I 100% could.
Really?
Making the cut, I think the last time they did this was like 94. I mean, it was gnarly how bad some of these guys were. I mean, yeah, they're good. John Smoltz is very good. Mark Mulder's very good.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Tony Romo.
I think 10 guys missed the cut last time, and Charles Barkley was one of them.
Why hasn't Romo done one of these yet?
And that's a good question.
Because there was a time where they were talking about him going on the tour.
He's
or
played
trying
on the tour,
right?
He's that good. I've always
maybe he's too much of a ringer. That's why.
That could very well be it,
right?
I mean, because none of these guys belong on a golf course with him.
Okay,
none of them.
Apparently,
you would have to bring in an actual PGA golfer to level that field. That's how good he is.
Apparently, Rodgers is the best of all of them.
That's who I would have had at 1. I would have said it would have been Brady 1, or Rodgers 1, Brady 2, Mahomes 3, Josh Allen 4.
He reportedly has a 4.4 handicap.
That's pretty good,
or something like that. And Tom Brady's at like an 8.1.
4.4 for the average golfer is extremely good.
Mahomes is a 7.7.
That is surprising to me.
And then they didn't give one for Josh Allen.
That's because, and I would wager that's because it's a big number.
It's a big number.
It's a big old number.
Right. So is this just Tom doing the Tom thing? Is he just skewing this in his favor? Like he got beat by Aaron last time, so now Aaron's got to be on my team?
No, I think they know after the one with DeChambeau. And here's another question: why do we keep doing 12 holes? There's not 12 holes in any golf course. 18 holes or 9. I don't care which.
But maybe it's a viewership thing.
I'm sure
18 would be too long.
It worked the first time.
You would get tired of seeing
quite
them.
nicely the first time.
Yeah.
Now, granted, that was during Ronin times, so we were just obsessed with. Give me something to watch.
But you also had Phil and Tiger.
Yeah, and I don't listen. I think this is the right tack to go. I will totally watch this.
Okay.
Now I'm really curious. Now that you've said Pat Mahomes is a 7, because I'm a 7. Mm-hmm. That's the reason that caught me when you said that.
Okay.
I want to see Pat Mahomes play golf now. He's the only of the 4 that I've never seen swing a stick ever.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I'm intrigued.
Okay. All right. I'm just trying to think of other sports that I would want to watch guys do that would be low impact. Like I said, I would love to see 2-on-2 basketball with guys like DK Metcalf and
Pat McAfee and me playing cornhole. With Rob Gronkowski and somebody to be named.
See, I'm out.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Like when you get into those bar games, I don't know that I'm that interested in it.
That's what I would want to watch. I would want to watch things that I'm good at.
Okay. Are you good at cornhole?
Not as good as I am. I'm better at darts than I am at anything we've said so far. Cornhole's one of those that, there's a sweet spot. All right. Beverage 1, 2, 3. We're getting better.
I mean, we
hit the fulcrum, and then it becomes, hey, look, I can throw it at the board as hard as I can. Woo!
I know they've done the pro-ams with the NBA stars. Chris Paul led one in bowling. I was no interest. I had no interest in watching that.
That bowling is one thing that people are good at that just blows my mind.
Well,
how do you have the time to get good at bowling? Justin Barton, that watches the show, we have actually been bowling together.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy has one time. If you had to guess of me as a bowler, what would you think it looks like?
Throw it as hard as you can. See if you can throw it straight, but it doesn't really matter. If you can make that first pin hit the top of the corral or whatever, then you've done it right. Is that how you play?
I have had people that, and look, I bowl 2 times every 3rd year. I've had people that do that a lot go, I have never seen a human throw a ball that fast. The little speedometer thing, it almost that's more of a game than my score.
Right.
Look, I hit 27. The people that are real good, they put the spin on it. Mine just, no.
See, I would be more interested in.
And then after 4 frames, I'm like, okay, I think I tore my rotator cuff. I'm done doing this now.
I would be more interested in putt-putt than this.
Oh, no.
Than regular golf.
No, I'm good with this. I'm good with this because for me, it is fun for me to see the best professional athletes in the world be as bad at something athletic as I am.
Gotcha.
The number one thing I miss, and I've said this on the show before, the slam dunk contest that they used to do with celebrities. Oh, please bring that back. I would love to see that again. I just remember Herman Moore was like the Vince Carter it was Foot Locker that sponsored it.
Uh-huh.
And Herman Moore was like the Michael Jordan of celebrity dunk-off.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Jeremy, you going to give people a chance to win some more money?
Well, the last time I did this, it was all going really well, and then the Clippers just fumbled it away at the end, and so it was a big old wash.
Well, it's time to put 5 on it. Let's see what you got tonight.
NBA playoffs. There is nobody on this planet that's angrier at the play-in than the Dallas Mavericks. You remember that technical that Luka got that was rescinded? Do you realize that had that not happened, he would be completely healthy right now? And they would have a shot in this series. Unfortunately, it did happen, and they don't. I got 3 picks for you in the NBA. First, I got 50 on it. My Denver Nuggets and the Golden State Warriors over under 222. There are going to be a lot of points in this. I have a feeling you're going to see that death lineup from the Warriors a lot tonight, and the Nuggets will be able to take advantage of it, but that lineup's going to score a lot. This number's way too low. I got 50 on it, over 222. Next, the Toronto Raptors are a 7.5-point dog at the Philadelphia 76ers. Call this a gut instinct. I understand Philly didn't play well, and they still won comfortably. I just think that Toronto's got something for them defensively. They've got too many long athletes. They're going to throw something out. They're going to keep one of these games really close, and I think it's tonight. I got 25 on it. Raptors plus 7.5. Finally, Utah and Dallas over under 206. Number of players in this game that should be playing a playoff game? 4. The last one set the NBA back by like 10 years, and I'm not sure we're not about to do it again. I got 25 on it, under 206. I'm not sure I wouldn't have had it at under 196. The game Saturday was painful to watch.
As always, you can take your wagers to betus.com. Promo code Sportsocracy will get you a 125% deposit bonus on whatever you put in, up to $2,500. It's a Monday, and who's shocked? When we come back, Jeremy's mad.
This is your time-saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Light delays 26 east and westbound approaching the Blue Ridge Parkway. Haywood County 40 westbound stop and go between Fines Creek Road and Harmon-Den Road. Smoky Park Highway traffic moving incident-free. Patton Avenue no delays. New Leicester Highway incident-free as well. Sweeten Creek Road no problems. Hendersonville Road moving well. Charlotte Highway no backups. Checking the drive time from Biltmore Forest to Fletcher via Hendersonville Road southbound. Drive time 15 minutes. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's Breakfast Biscuit Sandwich, just $1. Wendy's knows a better breakfast starts with a better biscuit. That's why you can get a hot and buttery Wendy's Breakfast Biscuit with bacon or sausage, fresh cracked egg and cheese for just $1. Get your Wendy's Buck Biscuit Sandwich today, limited time only, at participating U.S. Wendy's.
You ever feel like when you're at work, everything you say sounds like this because you're completely unstimulated and you don't care?
But then, when you're talking to your friends about things you're truly interested in and passionate about, you sound like you're alive and loving every moment of it.
Then maybe you should try podcasting with Spreaker from iHeart. It's the easiest way to podcast and get paid for it. Just head over to Spreaker.com, Spreaker, and start your voyage from ugh
to woo!
Kelley Blue Book is the one-stop shop for pricing, fixing, selling, and instant cash offering. Instant Cash Offer is exactly what it sounds like. An official offer to buy or trade your car. Woo-hoo! Just enter your VIN or license plate, answer a few questions about your car's history, and what kind of condition it's in. In minutes, you'll receive an offer to sell or trade your car that you can be sure is fair. Then choose a dealer to purchase your car and schedule a time to meet. For all of the its, KBB.com.
Welcome to Allstate, where we bring it all together. And bundling your home and auto is good, right? And it saves you up to 25%. It all comes together. Allstate. Here, better protection costs a whole lot less. You're in good hands with Allstate. Click, call, or visit allstate.com to save today.
Bundled savings discounts will vary by state. Saving up to 25% is a countrywide average of savings off the home policy. Combining the multiple policy discount for having auto insurance with Allstate and the welcome discount savings at enrollment.
If April is showering your company with open job positions, check out Indeed. Their all-in-one hiring platform makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates, all in one place. Sponsor your first job today and get hiring by visiting Indeed.com/credit.
This is Fogelman, ready to hustle for that muscle.
Membership numbers at Sly's Gym have been racking up.
22 people have signed up for 6 a.m. buns of steel.
Now he needs more certified trainers to do all the heavy lifting.
I'm going to have to bulk up my staff.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
At Ingles, we know your closest companions are the ones who are always there for you. The ones you trust to have your back, no matter what. Who make the hard times a little softer, and the good ones, somehow, a little better.
This week at Ingles, select sizes and varieties Kellogg's Townhouse or Club Crisp crackers, 2 for $5. Select sizes and varieties Starbucks coffee, $7.98 each. And select sizes and varieties General Mills cereal, 2 for $5. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Dirty perky shark-a-back flat. I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore. Shark-a-back flat, Morton Phillip.
Let the hate flow through you.
From here on out, anytime I get into an argument with anybody about name, image, and likeness, I'm just going to refer them to the name Imoni Bates. Hey, you remember him? He was supposed to be the next LeBron James. Oh, it's so awful that he has to go to college for a year because he could make so much money in the NBA. Well, Saturday he announced he'll be entering the transfer portal. And do you know why? Because he missed half the games in his freshman season at Memphis, averaged 9 points and 3 rebounds when he actually played, and has allegedly left a big old trail of NCAA possible sanctions in his wake. If you want to know why people like me were against this, that's why. Because there is absolutely nothing tying this kid to the school, and away he goes. And he probably ends up at Michigan State, which is where he committed to originally. We all said, and look, I'm not accusing you of anything. I'm just saying, walks like a duck, talk the duck.
Yeah.
He was committed to Michigan State. All of a sudden, Memphis comes out of nowhere. Penny Hardaway lays it all on the line to get Imoni Bates because this is the next LeBron James. Well, or not. Maybe he wasn't. And now you've seen it, and now he's stocking up. This is the reason that name, image, and likeness was always you can have it, but just understand there's more risk than you think. I'm mad.
There is a whole lot of risk to that. We've got, you know what there's no risk to? Asking Jeremy draft questions. We'll be doing a live Q&A coming up next, only on the YouTube channel. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click on that live video link, hit the subscribe button while you're there, get all our team-by-team content as we got perfect 7-round mock drafts for each team continuing to come out on the YouTube channel. We'll see you there next. We'll see you back here on the radio tomorrow at 3 on ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, cold front marching on through Asheville tonight. A couple of sprinkles out there and a much colder tone of the forecast overnight tonight and again tomorrow night. It's not record cold, but we will flirt with freezing here. And the humidity taking a nosedive into the Tuesday forecast. We're down to 34 degrees with a sprinkle or two. Snowflake possible in the higher elevations tonight. Sunshine Tuesday, high 55, low 34. I'm meteorologist Scott Lauriamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Jeff Martin Auction.